What's going on, guys? I'm here with Brant, and he's with All Seasons. He's a good buddy of mine, and today we're going to talk about like a hack, right? Or kind of a fix with this Honda mower so the guys can kind of do this right out in the field. I'm going to put it over to Brant, and he's going to talk to you a little bit about this little hack that he's got, or the little fix, and we'll go from there. Brant?
One of the common problems that you have with these is after about a year and a half, they have a little ratchet on the back of these. So when they're going, one wheel will spin and the other one will not. Well, the best way to know is when you pull it closed and you pull back, this side or the side that is bad will spin. So it makes it much easier for you to tell which side has the problem. So the best way to do that is just pull it up. It's always great to have an impact, but if you don't, a 14 millimeter or a 14 millimeter socket will do the trick. But since we have the impact, we're going to use the impact. Slide the wheel off.
Making it fast.
Yes.
This is kind of like NASCAR. That's what we're doing.
It is NASCAR quick. So in the field,
should I be gassing this up while you're doing that?
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's really good. And checking the oil and cleaning the filter. Anyway, you're in the field and you don't have an extra one of these. Ideal, it's to have an extra one. A right, and there's a right and a left. There is a difference, and the best way to know which one goes which way is this one will point the direction that it needs to be. Anyway, this is what it looks like new, nice and springy. So anyway, you're in the field and you've got to get back to work. So within a couple of minutes, if you'll just take the time, we're going to do this over the trash can so that I don't have to do a lot of extra work.
So the one you're doing right now is one that we just took off the machine.
This is a dirty one.
So it's kind of gunked up, right?
Right. So we're going to clean all of this debris and trash out of there. If you have some chem tool or carburetor cleaner, that's an ideal cleaning solution for this. You do not want to put WD-40 or any type of lubricant because it will attract
more
oil
stuff, right?
and stuff. Anyway, you clean this debris out.
And boy, that's dirty, huh?
Yes, this one's in really bad shape. Anyway, you get all of that cleaned out. Make sure that it's cleaned out in between the creases here so that the spring can work correctly. Put it back on. Washer. Sometimes this bearing will come out with it, but I always just slip the bearing back on with it. Then put the wheel back on. And you'll know if what you've done is successful because when you go backwards, it will lock. Because it spins freely this way and locks this way.
Okay, and before it wasn't locking?
Right, it would just spin freely. The common side is the left side. That's where the bulk of the power is, I think, and that's where, on Toros as well as Hondas, that's always the area that's the most problematic.
So if it spins on them, what is that? They just can't operate it, right?
Right. Well, one wheel will spin, making it hard to maneuver the mower
around. Okay.
Right, but if you'll do this, you'll spend 2 to 3 minutes doing this. I mean, you saw how quick we did this. And
yeah.
So on there, and you'll know you fixed it. Another way to fix it is by holding that. And if it locks, if the primary side as well as the other side is locked, then you know
we're in good shape.
That's right. Let it go freely. And then pull the handle and lock.
And here's that piece again, the brand new one. So that's the spring. See how it's spring? So I guess what's happening is all that stuff that's gunked up prevents the spring from...
Exactly, which we're going to actually put the new one back on. We're going to go ahead and throw this old one away. You also want to do this on the paved area, not on the grass.
Okay.
A couple of reasons. One, it's easier to find your screw when it falls off.
Excellent.
And if you happen to turn this over to any direction and any of the fuel gets onto the grass, it could cause a problem.
So again, this is a quick fix out in the field.
That's a quick fix out in the field, but since we're here and I have a new one and this one has really bad shape, we're just going to go ahead and replace it today.
Okay.
These things run, I believe, about $9 or $10 a piece.
So very affordable to have out in the field. And again,
if you were an owner operator, I highly recommend it.
Absolutely.
If you're sending out a crew, I would show them what I showed them and then have it tagged at the end of the day to be repaired.
And another thing that Brant noted is there's a right one and a left one.
The best way to tell what size which, if it's not, mine are marked, but if it's not marked, this arrow will point the direction that it's gonna spin, or it's gonna go. So if if it's pointed like that, that means it goes on the left. This one's a right one, so it's pointed that way. Does that make sense?
Gotcha. So really, they're not interchangeable, except if you had to, like, jerry rig it or pull it together. So basically, the best thing to do is, if you're out in the field, make sure that you have a right one and a left one. Again, time is valuable. You don't want to be sitting there jacking with stuff. You want to be able to get going right away. And today, like we talked about, we're not really replacing it out in the field. What Brent showed you was kind of like a hack of just cleaning it out so we can get it going and then get through the mowing for the rest of the day. And then once you're back in the shop, you make sure that you let your supervisor or the shop manager know, and that way they can go ahead and just replace it, and we're off, right? Very inexpensive fix.
Correct. And these typically will last a year to a year and a half. So
wow.
It's not something that you're going to have to change or worry about often, but it is, if you've had to clean it one time in the field, it's going to gunk back up pretty quick. The springs, springs get weak, and these things will wear out. So it's better just bring it in, repair it. But in the field, again, you don't want to have your crew members carrying a bunch of these around because they're easy to lose, and you don't want $10, $20, $30, $40 worth of easy to lose parts just sitting around, because when they go to look for things, it's like the screwdriver, the wrench, and everything else they can never find.
Absolutely.
So anyway, it's better just to fix it like I showed you out in the field, bring it back in, and then replace it. It's a 5-minute fix. It's easy to do.
Just want to thank Brant for giving us the opportunity to come out to his shop here and give us that little hack that gets you guys back and running right in the field. We'll see you next time, Lawn Care Pros.